This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. The Art of Musical Evolution by Barrett Williams and ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Chapter 1. The Birth of Broadway, Origins and Early Music Styles. Broadway is known for its grand productions, elaborate costumes, and impressive sets. However, what often goes overlooked is the importance of music in bringing these productions to life. The history of Broadway music is a rich and complex tapestry, with each era adding its unique flavor to the art form. In this chapter, we will explore the birth of Broadway, its early music styles, and its evolution over the years. The origins of Broadway can be traced back to the late 1800s, when a group of theaters began to emerge in the Union Square area of Manhattan. These theaters were known as variety theaters, which featured a mixture of different acts, including singers, dancers, and comedians. These performances quickly became popular with the working-class audience, who enjoyed the entertainment. Early Broadway music styles were heavily influenced by the popular music of the time, such as ragtime and Tin Pan Alley. Tin Pan Alley was a collection of music publishers and songwriters who dominated the American music industry in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. They produced some of the most popular songs of the era, such as Alexander's Ragtime Band and Take Me Out to the Ball Game. These songs were typically simple in structure, with catchy melodies and singable lyrics. In the early days of Broadway, musicals were more like revues, with little or no plot and a focus on the individual acts. It wasn't until the early 1900s that musicals began to incorporate a more coherent story. One of the earliest musicals that is still performed today is The Black Crook, which premiered in 1866. It featured an eerie plot combined with song and dance and was popular with audiences. As musicals developed, composers and lyricists began to experiment with different musical styles. For example, the 1920s saw a rise in jazz music, which had a significant influence on Broadway. Shows like Shuffle Along and Blackbirds of 1928 featured African-American performers and incorporated jazz music into their scores, introducing new musical styles to Broadway. Another important development in early Broadway was the operetta, which was a marriage of opera and musical theater. Operettas typically featured a romantic plot, with singing and dancing interspersed throughout. Some of the most popular operettas of the time include The Merry Widow and The Student Prince. Early Broadway also had a significant impact on the development of American culture. Many of the early musicals were vaudeville-influenced, with song and dance numbers that were meant to appeal to a wide audience. As a result, Broadway became a cultural melting pot, with performers and audience members of different ethnicities coming together to enjoy the performances. The birth of Broadway and its early music styles were a testament to the ingenuity of American composers and lyricists. These early musicals set the foundation for the Broadway we know today, with its grand productions and diverse music styles. As we explore the evolution of Broadway music in this book, it's important to remember the roots of this art form and the incredible talent and creativity that went into its early development. Chapter 2. Vaudeville and Operetta, the bridge between opera and musical theater. In the early 1900s, Broadway was still in its infancy as a form of theatrical entertainment. While some early productions featured a few songs and dances, it was not until the development of vaudeville and operetta that musical theater began to take shape. Vaudeville, a type of variety show featuring a mix of comedy, dance, music, and acrobatics, provided the perfect platform for composers and performers to experiment with integrating music and theater. Meanwhile, operetta, a form of light opera that originated in Europe, provided a bridge between opera and musical theater, giving rise to some of the first great American musicals. One of the earliest American musicals to achieve mainstream success was Babes in Toyland, an operetta that premiered on Broadway in 1903. The show featured music by composer Victor Herbert and starred vaudeville performers Faye Templeton and Dan Dailey. Babes in Toyland was a groundbreaking production that helped establish the idea of musical theater as a distinct form of entertainment. As musical theater began to evolve in the early 1900s, vaudeville continued to play a vital role. Many performers got their start.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.